Okay, so just so you know, I like cried a couple times in between the videos because they keep cutting off, and I'm really sorry. So Heather Miracle, I'm like really sorry. I don't know what's going on. It's not like my husband doesn't work in the internet services. He's up here trying to figure it out. Nobody knows why it keeps cutting off. So I'm gonna give you a second to regroup, but I'm live again, and I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry, everybody. Um, I don't know what's happening. I just don't know. Um, let me give you all a minute to catch back on. All right, here we go. Let's try this again. Um, so here I am. I'm Gina. I have sugar cookie decorating, not necessarily sugar, but cookie decorating business. I do custom cookies only, or I did custom cookies only. Thank you all for coming back. So the moral of the story that I was trying to get to, we'll recap real quick. Custom cookies are great, and I can spend all day doing custom cookies, but I hate saying no to people. I hate turning people down, and I'm spending a lot of time making custom cookies. Like I get sucked in. Like I was talking about the pinata today. It took me all day to do pinata. What could I do otherwise? So I talked about the fact that I sell cookies by the dozen. A round white cookie. Here we go. Round white cookie with my logo, because we should have logo. Look at that logo. Logos everywhere. So put your logo on it. Sell these by the dozen. Some people love them. If you have a sugar cookie that's unique and they love, here you go. This is great. But if they need an event and you are booked, or they can't meet your price point of like 60 bucks per dozen or whatever it is, I was afraid to offer simpler filler cookies. And I've realized that this has been an amazing source to my business. Look at this. This is a round cookie that I airbrushed some dots on. This is a round cookie that I airbrushed today, a stencil I just got. It's like supposed to be like garland. They did a really bad job stenciling it for the record, but it's there. Stenciled on circle cookies. We can all make circle cookies and we can all flood them really fast, I think. So we have, I have stencils out the wazoo, y'all. We can talk about that in a minute. But I offer these to people. They're individually wrapped, I say, because everybody loves individually wrapped stuff now that COVID's happened. Individually wrapped. They look fun. You can pick 2 colors to match your theme. I tell them, because I don't want to do more than 2 colors. And I can whip these out in no time flat, right? I don't even care how many stencils I use, because frankly, after I use the stencil like 3 or 4 times, I have to wipe it off anyway. So I'll just change it out and use a different stencil. So I'm sitting here. I'm just talking about this. So I say, if somebody asks me, can I get cookies by the dozen? I say, I am booked out till June right now. I'm really sorry. Oh, drat, that sounded like a fun theme. I really wish I could help you. But I can offer you an alternative if you would really like this fun cookie. You can do fun cookies individually wrapped. They would accent your party very nicely. They're about half the price that the custom cookie would be. Whatever that price is that you want to set. Right now I'm setting these around $30 to $32 a dozen. And they're going, that seems to be about right. $30 a dozen has been really good. Now I sell those plain white ones where I have a logo, my stencil, my logo on them for like 25, 26 bucks a dozen. I'm doing actually like nothing more other than picking a couple colors and having to clean the airbrush a little bit more. Like, so $30 a dozen. I'm doing absolutely nothing differently. And this has been a really big hit. And I was like so scared what to offer these. Because first of all, I thought, well, no one will want my custom cookies anymore. Well, yes, they do. That was a dumb thought. They still want those custom cookies. They want their pinatas. They want their spaceships. They want their Pokemon faces or whatever it is. But there's a group of people out there who need the accent cookie only, or they can't afford that, but this looks really personalized. And it's been a really great boom for my business because I'm telling you, I can make $60 a dozen and spend all day making stinking pinata, or I can spend a whole lot less time and get a lot of these out. I am making I'm making more money per cookie with these than I am with the other ones. And I just wanted to say that because I think that's an amazing revelation. Sorry, the cookies are on a tray on the floor. So that's why I keep going down. Um, and I was scared to offer that. So maybe sometimes somebody wants custom cookies, but they can't afford the 5 dozen custom that they really want for all the people showing up. But they can order 2 dozen custom and 3 dozen of those bad boys. And look at what you've done. You've done a lot with a little bit of time. So I just want to say, I think that's exactly what Heather was trying to get to with that article she was saying is sometimes you can sell the ugly cookie. I'm not going to call it an ugly cookie. I think it's a beautiful cookie, but it didn't require a whole lot of thought process from me, and it didn't require a lot of effort. What it did require for me was an airbrush machine, and learning how to use an airbrush. But thankfully, if you all know me, my husband does that. And so he's finally taught me and he used to not let me even touch the airbrush machine until we developed this and we needed it so often. Now I'm allowed to touch the airbrush machine. I'm very proud of myself. Thank you very much. It requires a lot of airbrush colors. I think I counted downstairs. What did I count? I counted about 20 colors. I just went bonkers on the cookie countess one day and bought a couple different blues and your yellow and your orange. We pick one of every color, a few different blues. Sometimes we need some baby blue, sometimes we need some navy blue. You know how that goes. They aren't that expensive and they last a really long time. So I love the airbrush colors. And you need stencils. And so a lot of people today might be like, I don't have a lot of stencils for airbrush machine. If you want to go this route, this is a great investment. I have acquired stencils over time, no doubt about it. I have bought from many a vendor. So I don't have anything I'm going to recommend, and I don't know that I should. So here's the deal. I have stencils that I've purchased. I don't own a Cricut machine. I didn't know how to say the word Cricut until just recently. I did not know that's how it was pronounced. So my knowledge in that area is negative. However, I have a good friend, Mary, who has exceptional knowledge with that machine and likes free cookies. So what I have set up is there's a lot of online, you can download the STL files. So there's many people, I think there's some in this group who offer that. There's subscription services where you can get on, and there's a whole bunch you can choose from. I did that. I downloaded many a stencil, and then Mary will print them off for me when I need them. It's been a wonderful thing. That she likes my cookies naked. I don't even have to ice them for her, and I get stencils made. I'm just going to say, there are ways around the system that if you really want to grow your business and grow your stencil collection, that's a great way to do it. So what I have, and I don't have one with me today, I bought one that said, a stencil that says happy birthday that fits in a 3-inch circle so I can stencil happy birthday. I have one that says congrats. I probably need one that says something about a baby, but I don't have one of those yet. But I have lots of pretty backgrounds, like that starburst design that everybody stencil. That's a great one. Goes with anything. Some really pretty backgrounds. If I'm going to stencil an airbrush gold for you, you know that's going to cost more because nobody likes to airbrush gold stencils, at least not that I've met. So charge more for those, but people love that. I literally had somebody come to me. She is a local baker in town. She has a big old cake business. She needed cookies for her father's birthday party. Like 5 dozen cookies is what she wanted. I couldn't fit her in, and the party got changed. I still couldn't fit her in because I've been booked out, way out. The invitation was dots, literally dots. And I'm like, I can make you 5 dozen of these with dots on it, and 2 different colors of blue and gold. So I upcharged her a little. She loved it. Like, it was exactly what she needed for her party, and she thought I was saving her money. She put me on her little Instagram thing. It was great. And what an honor that another baker thought that that was the right thing to do. So I just wanted to say that I found a niche, and I just encourage you, if you are just a sugar cookie business and you're having to either say no or you just want to find an alternative to meet people where they're at, because a lot of times say, oh, that's not my customer if they're not willing to pay $60 for a custom order. Yeah, that's true. I'm in the $50 to $65, $70 range for whatever those custom orders are, depending on the day. And there's people that can't do that. And of course, I have allergy people that I have to worry about as well. So, people, I get the opportunity to ship across the country, and I ship a lot of places because of that. And there are people who can't do a huge party at $60 a dozen and get everything shipped to them and all that. But this has been a really great alternative, and it meets the needs of family. Everybody's happy. So, point 1 for today, that's fun. Here's point 2 that I have found, a second alternative to parties, is the cake tower. I've just started doing this. I've seen people posting on here, so I'm pretty sure I got the idea from somebody else a long time ago in my sleep, and then I just came back to my head. So this is the little cake tower. Oh, look at that light. It's cookies stacked on each other. I have done one that is 8 cookies high, like three big ones on the bottom, 3 in the middle, and 2 on the top. I do them this size. People think that's fantastic. It's white cookies that are round. Maybe you offer a color for a slight upcharge, but they're round cookies that you put together with a tiny bit of icing in between, which I didn't do because I plan to feed these to my children separately later. You take some pretty pictures and you tell people I can do whatever colors. You can put some flowers up the side of it. But generally speaking, it's like one color and it's round cookies. And so if somebody wanted to do these and they're like, it's my kid's birthday and I really just need they have 8 kids coming over. I'd like to give them a special little something. I'm not going to make you Encanto cookies this week, or ever in my case. I'm not doing Paw Patrol for you, but would you like a little cake tower? And they think that's fun because then the kids are like, whoa, this is awesome. So listen, there are alternatives out there. And this to me is a pretty simple one. On top of the fact that if you had an off week, you could make and freeze these if freezing is an option for your styled cookie. I'm the person who adamantly says you must try it yourself to determine if it works for you. But for me, freezing is a wonderful thing. So here we go. We got 1, we got cookies that are stenciled by the dozen. 2, I have the cake tower now. Pretty simple, pretty awesome little, I think, alternative to doing custom pinatas. And I'm stuck on pinatas because pinatas, that was my day, was pinatas. I didn't even get a chance to put makeup on for y'all because I was finishing the pinatas. So those are 2 real simple alternatives I make to customs. And the third one is this. Here we go. Okay. This is my cookie cutter. I'm pretty sure I got this at the Michaels or the Hobby Lobby. Hi, everybody. I'm looking at comments for a second. Hi, Kendra. I missed your live today. Kendra's on here. She's my macaron dealer because I might be a sugar cookie maker. I need my own macaron dealer. How do I decorate the cookie cakes? I have a picture of them, but they're iced. I just ice each one and put a dot of royal icing in between each layer so they kind of break up. They stay together, but they kind of break apart if you put a little effort into them. And I just do stiff icing flowers up the side. I have also done, let's go back to the cake tower real quick. I have done them where I just airbrush colors and kind of make it like a rainbow ombre type airbrushed design on the cake towers, and that way I'm not mixing colored icing. I hate mixing colored icing. I hate mixing the icing. If I can do it in white, I want to do it in white. I want to push the white, I want to try the white, I want white, and I want to airbrush it if I can. The other alternative I have done, and I'm doing this for a friend of mine who talked me into an order that I didn't want to take, but I'm doing it, is a cookie cake. But the top cookie on each cookie cake is going to be Pikachu. That's why the Pokemons are on my mind. It's the Pikachu face where you do like a little yellow cookie and put Pikachu's face on it. I think you can do like a cute little cookie on top of each tower that has a little design or stencil or something, whatever you want. That's taking it to a different level. But I like just the simple ones with a little flower on top or some dots and maybe some flowers up the side. So I think they're great for bridal showers and birthday parties. I happen to supply cookies to a local farm. So during pumpkin season and strawberry season, I supply cookies out there, and they have birthday parties. And they're the ones who actually asked for this so that they could serve a simple little something at the birthday party for the birthday person. And that's how this came to be. They like these. So sometimes it's great to listen to other people's suggestions, isn't it? So far I've listened to my husband's suggestion, which it's painful for me to admit he was right. And then I've listened to the farmer suggestion. Farmer Kathy told me to make cake towers. That's great. The other thing I love to do for the third little thing is this one. I was talking about, I use one, this is my style. I promise I'm getting to it. One cookie cutter. I can have these in the freezer because, again, my cookies freeze really well. I've tried it many, many times. Or I can make them easy. But I do this cookie cutter. I do white icing. I always have black icing mixed up to like that writing consistency. And I can whip out paint your own cookies in no time flat. So while I have invested in all those stencils that I use, I have invested in many paint your own stencils as well. So, there's a dinosaur and a unicorn and a rainbow and a narwhal and the game controller is a good stencil. Boys really like that one. Different holidays, but the generic ones, a birthday cake, a birthday ice cream cones, those types of things. Rocket ship. Those are and a turtle. So those are what's going to sell most on your paint your owns. I think I posted that on one of my social medias the other day. If you want to look at one of the pictures of what's pretty popular for me. But here's the secret to the paint your owns for me. This thing, I think I've shown it before. Let me get this piece of paper out of here so it looks more dramatic. Let me try that again with more drama. This thing here is a fishing tackle box from Academy Sports for $3.99. These are my paint your own dots. They're in there. I'm going to touch this one because it's flat and broken. So I'm touching this with my hand, never to be used. I make all these dots. I'm out of yellow. I have to do this tomorrow. I make my dots in advance and I airbrush them. I put them in my tackle box. I make paint your own cookies on no time flat turnaround. It's fantastic. And I charge a lot for those paint your own cookies because it does take time, folks, so don't undercharge. Like, I just do all these steps in advance. But if it comes to the week of and they're like, oh my goodness, my kid's birthday's on Saturday and I forgot about their party. How many people do that? I get that like a lot. I say I can't do custom orders that quick, but I have these paint your own cookies if you would like to pick out a few styles. I don't care how many stencils you use. I really don't, because it's white cookie and it's the same black icing. I don't care if you pick 7 different designs for your 7 different cookies. I really don't. I think that makes it sound like I'm awesome, but to me it doesn't matter. Because it's all the same ingredients going into it. And then they just have paint your own cookies on the fly. So those have been just a really good alternative to trying to do a custom order or just trying to get everything. You can't say yes to everything. You want to sleep, you want to have family time, you want to have sanity. So if your custom orders are getting full, which they will if you follow the tips here in the Sugar Cookie Marketing Group like I did, these are some great alternatives. So I'm going to take a moment and read through a few comments. Cookies by the dozen kept in the freezer? Yes. I like that y'all are helping everybody catch up. Thank you for that. How do I freeze the cookies? I personally heat seal every cookie individually before I freeze it, if they're decorated, for sure. Sometimes I put my naked cookies, like if I bake ahead for something, and I'll put them in there wrapped in a Ziploc bag, but that's rare. I like to heat seal everything that goes into the freezer, and I don't leave them in there terribly long. So that was that question. Thank you for disliking my piñata cookie. I'm sorry. There are a few things, piñata cookies are just one of them that really get me going. Cookie cakes. Karen asked, are cookie cakes sold as individual cookies or a certain number per order? And would one person get all 3 cookies for their serving? Yes, in my opinion, the cakes are served as a cake. So one person gets a whole cake. So that's why I make the short little stacks versus the taller ones. And you can go anywhere in between, I tell customers. You can go anywhere in between, from short stack to tall stack. You know, some of those bridal parties and the bridal shower things want like it all laid out, and some people just have kids coming and they want that cute little short stack. Um, how do I package them? I think was one of the questions. I am working on the box. I do obviously put them in, I put them all in a heat seal bag, and then I have to source the right kind of boxes for each one right now because I don't have that quite sorted out. I'm still in the process of that one, but I love the idea of it. And I'll let people unwrap things when they get to their facility at that time. How do I charge my paint your owns? I charge might be $6.25 soon, thanks to the world and the way we're going, for each paint your own. I put my little dots of food coloring on it. I don't do a palette, but I put the paintbrush in there with the design, and the little dots are glued on to the actual cookie. So it's one cookie with the dots, with the design, and a paintbrush for $6. And I say that I do like a minimum of like 5. I don't do those by a dozen. You can just order like 4 or 5 from me because they're not that hard. I'm trying to read that. So that's what I do for paint your own. So going back to think about this, I also, when I bake, just from another live, I mentioned this a while ago, I always bake. So when my mixer holds what is the equivalent of what I call a 6 dozen batch. So what I had developed my recipe, because I created my own recipe for 1 dozen, I multiplied by 6. I never bake anything less than 6 because I just think of it as a waste of my time. So this week I baked, and I want to do my Mother's Day samples because I'm a crazy woman, and I didn't have any orders other than the piñata this week. So I baked for Mother's Day, and I had to make like 16 cookies. But I baked 6 dozen, and I make extras to put in the freezer when I do that. Whether I did this week, I got ahead for like some of my do-it-yourself kits for Easter, but I did some of these extras. And then I had to do the next batch later in the week for the Fiesta cookies, and there was extra. So again, I'm just always making some extras when I can to keep in the freezer or put on social media. Oh, whoops, I made some extras when anybody loves them. People love getting stuff that's right now, if we haven't already figured that out, fear of missing out. So sometimes I say, hey, I just made a whole bunch of extra cookies. Was anybody like these? Oh, yes, I would. Yes, I would. So I like that. Let's see. I'm just looking at comments. Bambi. Hi, Bambi from Saluda. You're very close by. Yes, I'm in Charlotte, North Carolina. So we have a huge city, by the way. There's still not enough cookie people in this town. So I say that because I really thought when I started going down some of these avenues of selling the stencil cookies or whatever, or paint your owns with only like 4 or 5 at a time instead of doing a dozen at a time, I really thought I would be like somehow not comparing to the other cookie people in this town. There's so many orders we cannot keep up. So I feel like no matter how many cookie people are in our beautiful area, after COVID and the ability to say, I have an individually wrapped treat, like this is what people seem to want in whatever style it comes in, whether it's just a stencil or it's a custom design or whatever it is. So I have not lost business from doing this. I got over the fear of saying, what am I truly trying to sell? It's not always custom cookies. It's a decorated cookie. It could just be decorated in a lot of different ways. While we're on this topic, I don't know. I don't see Heather Miracle commenting, so I feel like I can just keep running my mouth at this point because she's not stopping me. One of the other things I will do on occasion is make a nice big batch of like really pretty happy birthday cookies, like one that has little pretty candles, and one that has like a little pretty cake. I said once it's happy birthday, I don't know, just make them fancy, and I can sell them in like a 3-pack or by the half dozen, put them in a fancy box with fancy bow, like we've learned how to make here in this group. And I just keep those in the freezer for when somebody's like, I have a birthday tomorrow at ladies' night and I need to bring some cookies. Um, that has gone well for me. I'm going to give you the pros and cons of that. That has gone really well for me. And a lot of times people are like, I really want that cookie, but can you change the color? Can you add a name? And well, even though my website is very specific, like this is what you get and this is only what you get. What do they say in preschool? You get what you get and you don't get upset. Like, um, people were getting upset, like they wanted it modified. So I've loved it and I've hated it. And so I feel like I've kind of ended that little bit of a phase and learned a lot from it and moved on to these stenciled ones. But I'm not saying that phase is over. It was a great learning curve. I just want to learn how I need to do that a little bit better. But just thinking of other alternatives, really pretty happy birthdays that people can grab and go, keep them in your freezer if freezing works for you. Um, I'm going to look back at a few of these comments one more time. Kendra asked what kind of mixer I have. Volrath that I got on Craigslist. And a 10 quart, does that even make sense? I love it. It's my baby. Do you heat seal the plain white cookies to freeze and then open and seal again for stenciling and final packaging? I do that with the paint your owns. I will freeze the paint your owns, and then unfreeze, put the stencil on, and sell them because I know they're going to eat them right away. And so I don't feel like they're going to get frozen again. I don't like the freeze again thing, so I try to avoid that. Cookies by the dozen. I've honestly had so much that I am just keeping up with them, and I do keep spares of the ones with Rosie the turtle, my logo on, for people who want to come by in a pinch. Because I have allergy people, they know how to come to my house and give me that sob story of like, I really just want something to eat today. Do you have anything I can eat? So that's what I tend to sell those for out of my freezer. Like I feel like I have some sort of sly business on the side there, but people come to my freezer when they need a little something. Oh, Heather, don't kick me off for that. How long do I keep things frozen? They don't stay in there very long. Nothing will ever stay probably more than a month to 6 weeks at the very most, because I'm doing enough or promoting it just when I feel like I need to have enough or I know stuff's coming. So it doesn't stay in the freezer more than that. I don't like it in the freezer any longer than that. Now, that being said, during COVID, I found some cookies that I had in there for like a year because it was like Valentine's Day and they were like last year's Valentine's Day cookies. They were fine. We all ate them without a problem, but I won't do that to a customer. But if I find stuff at the bottom of the freezer, I'll do that to myself. Don't you worry. I eat my own cookies. I had a few right before this thing, if you can't tell. I'm trying to look at anything else. So I'm so glad. I love sharing this, and I didn't know if this live would be like exciting to people or not, but it really has been something to me to say I can turn the business into a way I didn't really think. And again, paint your owns are pretty easy when you mass produce them. Like the introduction of that fishing tackle box really was quite the revelation for me because we can make them so much easier in so much timely fashion. The cake towers, generally white or airbrushed, is going to be really fun, but the new stenciling thing has been awesome for me. I'm trying to think about anything else. The reason I have gotten to this point in my business, so I've done a live like a year ago about pre-sales because that has been really good for me for holidays. But when I really got to this, like we're getting custom requests all the time, is when I followed the twins' advice and did the Google My Business, because I get requests through Google daily. I would say at this point, I'm still getting 3 to 4 requests daily. Some of them are like, I need cookies Saturday. Some of them are 2 months out, any range, but I'm getting them through Google a lot. I had somebody contact me yesterday, God bless her, for a huge book premiere party that they are doing next weekend. I'm going to tell you that sometimes I want to ask these people, how did you not think about your book premiere being more than a week and a half away and you had to have cookies? Like, you have to have them. So she was going to pay me $60 to $70 for a custom dozen for 4 dozen cookies for this book premiere party. Instead, I'm like, I can't do that. I got crap to do. Let me order a stencil that is custom made to this woman's silhouette that's on the front of this book. So I got me a custom stencil maker. She is my friend. I love this business. I don't know if I can promote a business, so I'm not going to say it. And if anybody wants to mess with me, I'll tell you who she is. She's turning around a stencil for me, and it's going to be here on Tuesday. So I'll have the white cookies made, and I'll just be stenciling on the silhouette that's on the book cover. And I have just made this woman's life. And mind you, she paid for the stencil and she paid for the shipping. And I'll give her the stencil because I'm done with it at that point anyway. And she thinks it's awesome because she's getting her little trinket. And she's just getting stencil cookies. And she is saving money than what she originally would have done if I had to sit there and pipe every dang stencil on those cookies. We all just won because that's 4 dozen more cookies next week that I wasn't necessarily planning on doing, but I can do with my eyes closed, or I can make my husband airbrush them at night. Even better here in this house when I can put him to work. So that's kind of a great answer to things. So it's just been a really fun thing. Oh, look, Jackie from Indian Trail. I know Nora sees. Thank you. Do you have capacity? Because I got people lined up and I don't know who to refer to. So Jackie, tell me if you got capacity because I'm gonna put you on my list because I just have to refer out on a daily basis. Do I offer more than one flavor? Nicole asked. Yes, I developed a chocolate cookie during COVID, during that time during COVID where we just needed something like that. And for the gluten-free, dairy-free, soy-free people who haven't had a brownie, I developed a cookie that tastes like a brownie, and it's a little bit of an addiction for them. So I have people addicted to the cookies, and they buy those by the dozen. I just make chocolate cookies by the dozen for them. I do keep those in the freezer too, because we get very many requests for like, oh my gosh, I need a chocolate cookie now. And I get it, because I need a chocolate cookie very often. Do you let them choose the paint your own colors? No, I pick the dots that go best with whatever design that I'm doing that day, in my humble opinion. Is it the death date book signing? No, it is not the death date book signing. Kendra, I don't know what it is, quite honestly. I didn't spend enough time looking at that. Oh, Jackie sent me the the book person. That's funny. Okay. And I will send you people, Miss Nora sees, then we don't know who else to refer to. It's fun. I love having a cookie community in town. Get yourself a cookie community because then you can have these conversations. So anyway, this has been fun. It has been about 45 minutes that I have talked way too long and I haven't heard from Heather, so I don't know if I'm doing wrong things or not. But I'll answer any questions if you post in there after the fact. I think you're supposed to post replay at the front. That helps all of us know that I didn't answer it during the live. You can message me. You can ask questions. I want to be like helpful. I love this community because before this, I didn't know that other cookiers helped other cookiers because I had a bad experience with somebody locally. This group has changed my world because this is what we want to be. Again, my tips from this group, Google My Business has changed my business. I don't do quite all of the social media tips, but I've learned a lot and the photography has helped a lot. But just staying at it and it will come if you're out there, just the encouraged part, it will come if you keep doing what you're doing and learn from this group. And these are just some other great options. I've always thought about I would go into drop cookies at some point, but I don't ever see the time for that with what we have going on in this respect. So I love it. Let's see, let's look one last thing through here. Google My Business. How do you get people to post reviews? Is that how you get business? Okay. For Google My Business, Avis asked that. I hope I'm saying your name right. First of all, however I set it up, had a really large area for service. I set my service area very large. I never set an address. If you know me, my husband's Mr. Forensic Investigator, and he's information security. He's even done a live here. So there's none of my address out on that internet anywhere. I did set my service area. It seems to be a very large service area, which helps. Second of all, I do get reviews. I have found a way to get that. There's a quick little link to your Google business, and somebody who has loved my work, I message them and say, I'm glad you had a great celebration. I was honored to be part of it. I hope I have the privilege of working with you again in the future. What helps my business most, though, is word of mouth. So if you would like to post about me in any of your mommy/women's groups on Facebook, that always helps. But leaving a review on Google is awesome. Could you take a minute to do that? Here's the link. I've found also with Google My Business that if I go in and add photos of my work every so often, I mean, I forget. So it's like maybe once a month, maybe sometimes more than that. Adding the photos seems to boost it back up again. So when I go back in and add more photos, I seem to see an uptick right after that. I can't speak to whether that's the truth. It's just what I see. So I send people the link and I ask them blatantly. And I will tell you what, I am also so far behind on things. Have I mentioned that I'm the mom of like twins, toddlers? So I know y'all are moms. I have twins. I get behind. My husband's sick right now. I'm really behind because there's no sleep and no functioning in this house. I don't go back and ask people for those reviews. I do it like once a month. And I go back and I'm just like, oh, I'm so sorry it's been so long since your celebration, but I just wanted to follow up. Because even if it's 4 weeks later, they're usually on it. And I've gotten a lot of people say, I ask because of my nature of my business, oh, are you gluten-free? And they say, no, we just found you on Google and you had a lot of great reviews. So I would keep going with that. Just like that has been awesome. Just keep going with it. Do you price point the cookie tower by the cookie or do you have a set price? Nicole asked that. I have been pricing the cookie towers by the tower. So like that small one that's just 3 cookies high, big, medium, small, like about $7 for each of those. The tall ones, we've talked about it with a lot of people, but I haven't really set a price point yet. I have to think about that. My husband's very involved, so he has to agree on it. And we disagree on prices sometimes. He likes to go lower. I like to go higher. Call me crazy. So I haven't worked on it, the tall one yet. How do you make your business Googleable? So Google My Business is obviously part of it, but for all those people out there who you need to go find the Cookie College or find anything on here on the SEO part of your website. I cannot speak to what that really means because I have a beautiful, wonderful husband that does it for me. But he is very intent on making sure that you keep your business on the Google and at the top of a search based on all those SEO type things. And I can't speak to exactly what that is. I just know, especially when we changed our website, we had to make sure everything changed together. At the same time, we didn't lose that. And it took time to build it, but we are at the top of the search. And we love being at the top of the search of gluten-free decorated cookies because we do get people. I have gotten people recently from Pinterest because I had last year when my kid was in golf lessons, I had nothing to do during that hour at golf lessons. I uploaded stuff every week to Pinterest just to see if it happened. And sure enough, I got somebody from Pinterest the other day and they're like, yeah, I was looking for gluten-free decorated cookies. Came up. Well, something worked. Look at that, people. It actually works when you do some of the stuff. It blew my mind. Let's see. Who else says, what size packaging do I use for my paint your own? So this thing here is about 4.5 inches wide, just about 4.5 inches wide. I get the 5-inch wide cello bags by 7 inches tall. I think they're 5 wide by 7 tall. I am a Paper Mart cello bag and a clear bags user, but I think these are the Paper Mart ones. I use backer boards for all my cookies. That's a side note that none of you need to go down, but I have a really soft cookie because of the nature of it's we're almond flour based and we don't use butter and we don't use sugar. We don't use flour. So we're a very different cookie, very soft. So I have to use the backer board. I know my backer board just fits beyond that this way, Kendra. So 5-inch wide, 7-inch tall with the backer board is almost exactly the size of this cookie. So I think that's what, yeah, that has to be the answer. Thank you. Thank you very much for testing my memory. Would you help me with the icing recipe for gluten-free? Royal icing is gluten-free. So there's nothing special you need to do. Royal icing is naturally gluten-free. Meringue powders I have used have been gluten-free. I just have to watch which facility they come from if they're mixed. But there's a facility that also does wheat, but not all of them are. So that's easy, and royal icing is dairy-free. So that part of life is really easy when being gluten and dairy-free. It's the cookie that took a little bit of work. So I hope you've enjoyed that. I have done a lot. Y'all can do this too. I have a little space in this house. I have a very tall baking rack. I have one desk, and I make it all work. I have taped off part of my kitchen that I only get to use so nobody brings anything near my gluten-free stuff that shouldn't be there. And it's amazing what you can do. So set your mind to it, see how you can expand. And then for me, like, this has just been an awesome way. And I'll say how it is again. I started this because I hate saying no to people, because I'm non-confrontational and I don't like to say no. Well, sometimes I like to say no. If you ask for Paw Patrol, I really love saying no to you. But otherwise, I don't really like to say no. And this whole selection is exactly my way around it. Because even if this is not at all what they asked for, they love that I have just offered them multiple solutions. And it might not be what they wanted, but they're going to remember me for saying, I really tried hard to find you something to make your day special. And hopefully they'll remember me again in the future. But that has been the compliments I've gotten. Like, you know what, that doesn't exactly fit, but I really love that. And I might use that again at this and this occasion, Or I might take these to school. These would be great to hand out at my kid's birthday at school, something like that. So offer the alternatives. It may work that time. I was thinking about my percentages today because I'm a math major. I like thinking percentages. I would say of the people I have offered this to, I've gotten a yes about 35% of the time, which is pretty good if you ask me. So that's a third of the people I would otherwise have said no to that I am now doing business for. So, all right, with that, it's time for bed, y'all. I have to keep it to an hour, so this is it. And now I'm going to go try to get some sleep and make more cookies tomorrow. Feel free to leave more comments. You know where to find me. Gina Burke, Pink Turtle Cookies. Happy to help. Have a great night, y'all.